The Wood County Commissioners celebrated 3 local girls basketball teams at their meeting this morning. Our Chase Campbell has more.
The Wood County Commission kicked off its Monday morning meeting with a celebration honoring 3 local girls basketball teams that represented the county at the state tournament earlier this month. Commission President Blair Couch and Commissioners Jim Hamrick and Jimmy Colombo presented plaques to players and coaches from Parkersburg, Parkersburg South, and Williamstown high schools. PHS took the Class Quad A state title, with South finishing as runner-up. Williamstown was runner-up in Class AA. Commissioner Hamrick, who organized the recognition, says this year's the 50th anniversary of girls basketball in the state, a milestone that makes the local team's achievements even more noteworthy.
I just thought this would be a good time to bring the champions and the runners-up. And that doesn't happen in Wood County every year. It happens a lot, but for all 3 teams to be in the championship game, it needs to be recognized.
The coaches from the 3 teams spoke during the ceremony. Each praised their own teams as well as the other schools' teams and said the players were well deserving of the recognition.
We watched a lot of basketball at that week we were down there, and I think all 3 of these teams here that represented Wood County not just themselves and their teams and their schools, but I felt like they represented Wood County with class.
Just what a great bunch of young ladies, and it was a privilege and a blessing every day to go to practice and spend time with them. They just were awesome all year.
I thought this was really the golden era of basketball in our area right now, that just the talent that's in the room is truly unbelievable, and you girls work so hard all the time.
Hamrick also proclaimed Monday Girls Basketball Day in Wood County. He noted that the championship game between PHS and South was historic, the first time the 2 schools had ever met in a championship game in any sport. In Parkersburg, Chase Campbell, WTAP News.
Also at